All right, welcome back everyone to the American Innovator and day 2 of the Beyond Band of Brothers tour throughout Normandy. It is going to become an epic experience as we travel all over Europe. Today we're going to go to a place called Dead Man's Corner, and it's called that because a tank operator came to this very strategic Y in the corner and was killed and tried to come out of the tank, and he was left there for days. So the way they identified the corner was as Dead Man's Corner because the tank operator was actually half out of the tank. And this is the tank right here. This is the Y in the road. Really quite dramatic. Now I was able again to take the drone up over the area to get a bird's eye perspective of the small villages and everything. Then we went inside a museum that was absolutely incredible with war memorabilia, the uniforms that these men were wearing, and what's really remarkable is how much gear they were carrying. Just sometimes hundreds of pounds of gear trying to slog across the Normandy beaches to get inland. They had a fabulous simulation of what training they went through, and then we got on board a C-47 that was actually a simulator itself to kind of let you feel what it was like for these paratroopers to come across the English Channel and then jump out of the plane under heavy fire into the Normandy coastline and then a crash landing. Wow, it was absolutely incredible. It let you feel a little bit of what they must have been feeling. Now, one of the things I thought was so interesting is a lot of the paratroopers sewed on extra pockets because they wanted to be more prepared, things more readily available. They had tremendous amount of first aid gear. Now, this is an amazing story. In this church, 80 Americans who were injured were cared for by 2 medics. And then 20 Germans were brought into this church as well, and they also cared for them. Could you imagine Americans and Germans, the enemy, together being cared for in this little church? What an astounding story. And then the medic who did that was actually buried outside in the courtyard. And then Brave Cop Manor, where Dick Winter's band of brothers carried out the infamous flanking attack on the 4 guns. Then we went to lunch at a beautiful French chateau, which we had a fantastic time there, and then on to Utah Beach, one of the most successful campaigns of the entire Normandy invasion. To put in perspective, only 42 men died on this beach, and they brought 23,000 people ashore, 16,000 vehicles, 180,000 tons of supply. The tide was out over 600 meters. They had to slog across this entire beach area to make it into shore. Very well orchestrated. Everything went according to plan. The road to liberty. There was actually a mile marker every kilometer all the way to Birchster Gardens showing the path that the Allied troops traveled in order to liberate Europe. And this was the Higgins landing craft made out of plywood with just a steel front. And this was an anti-aircraft gun from the Germans. This is the road to liberty. Right down this path is the road to the freedom of Europe. Next, Sainte-Mère-Église, one of the first villages to be liberated on June 6, 1944. Paratroopers parachuted into this village and overtook the Germans. One of our paratroopers, John Steele, supposedly got hung up in the steeple of the church and was finally cut loose and brought in actually by Germans. Craziest thing. They have stained glasses inside to commemorate what happened there. And then we went inside and saw some more amazing footage and videos of what happened on that day in D-Day. They had great simulations as well in this village and a fantastic museum that we went around in the C-47. It was just incredible. You could see the bullet holes still in the windows and louvers of the church. It was a beautiful area and an amazing experience to see everything that had transpired on another great day in Normandy. Day 2, Beyond the Band of Brothers tour.